Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It's 7:09, Wednesday, December 14th, 33 degrees. Get up to 43 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined by radiation oncologist Dr. Rajesh Iyer. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, listen, I really had no choice because Gene just kind of sent someone and off we go. So
I
no,
understand.
I'm joking. So you are the chair of the Community Medical Center Cancer Committee, as well as a board-certified radiation oncologist. So why don't you talk to us a little bit first about radiation oncology? What does that mean? So break it down for someone who's a little bit slower like myself.
No problem. So generally, when someone has cancer, we have 3 different tools we can use to treat that cancer. We could cut out the cancer, which is what a surgeon or surgical oncologist does. We can give the drugs called chemotherapy, which is what a medical oncologist does. Or we can aim radiation beams at the cancer, which is what the radiation oncologist does.
Okay. And how do you decide who wins?
So usually it's a combination. Usually most cancers don't just have one way of treating it. Usually the best way is a combination of some of these things. So, for example, breast cancer, you might use all 3. You might cut out the tumor, then give chemotherapy, and then the radiation. Other cancers have different combinations.
Cool. So how do you get – I always wonder, like, you're in medical school, right? You decided you want to be a doctor. First of all, how did you decide you wanted to be a doctor? Was it a family
So it
thing?
wasn't a natural thing for me. I actually was an engineer in college. I was an electrical engineer, and I did a lot of programming and a lot of engineering work. But I wanted a job where I could interact with people more. And in engineering, you're usually given an assignment, and you go off and you do that one thing. So I had done some volunteer work in the local emergency room, and that kind of piqued my interest.
Cool. And so then how do you then further settle on radiation oncology as your specialty?
So even for medical students, radiation oncology is not a common specialty. It's very small. Most medical students don't get any exposure to it. I was actually doing a medical sub-internship at a hospital, and I was telling my intern that I liked everything I did in medical school, and I couldn't decide. And he said, oh, you have an engineering background, you have a good technical background, and this is a field that has a lot of technical aspects to it. So that sort of was my opening, and I started to explore it at that point.
Nice. Did you do that on purpose, by the way, where you said radiation, not a lot of exposure to it? Were you trying to make a radiation joke there? Because I don't know if anybody got that. I'm just pointing it out for everyone. Okay. I see what you did there. Okay. So talk to me about the most common cancers currently being treated at the J. Phillips Sitta Regional Cancer Center or Community Medical Center.
So the cancers we treat are some of the most common cancers across the United States. Lung cancer is certainly one of the most common cancers for both men and women, and we certainly see a lot of patients, unfortunately, with lung cancer. And then we see a lot of patients with breast cancer, of course, and colorectal cancer would probably be number 3.
Okay. Amazing. The lung cancer thing, does it amaze you when you see people smoking?
It does, but I understand that smoking is, unfortunately, a very addictive habit. And I know a lot of patients have tried to quit, and it's very difficult. There are a lot of tools nowadays to help patients quit, and we can certainly work with them on smoking cessation. But unfortunately, it's a very bad thing.
Yeah, it's crazy when you know something is literally, leading you down the path of destruction, and you still can't break away from it. So we always want to know about genetics. Right, and kind of what is the role of genetics versus the environment in a cancer diagnosis?
Sure. So we're still learning a lot about these topics. We feel that there's a component of both genetics and environmental causes for most cancers. And in some situations, we know a lot about the genetics. In certain breast cancer genes, we've identified the genes. We have good tests for them. For example, BRCA1, BRCA2 genes. There are other genes as well. But we also know environment plays a large part in causing cancer as well. So in terms of genetics, we actually have our own genetics counselor at Community Medical Center. And for patients who have a family history of cancer, they can come in, they can be evaluated. And after providing a family history and a family tree, the genetics counselor can determine whether it's worth doing actual genetic testing to see if you have those genes.
Right. So are there things that someone can do to lower their risk factors?
Absolutely. So obviously the genetics portion is what it is. We're all dealt the cards we have. But for the environment, certainly there's a lot of things we can do. We talked about smoking, and certainly quitting smoking would be the single best thing most patients can do. It affects not just lung cancer, but many other cancers as well, head and neck cancer, esophagus cancer. Alcohol intake, if you have excessive alcohol intake, it can cause head and neck cancers and stomach cancers and esophagus cancers. So moderate alcohol intake is fine, but excessive alcohol intake is not a good thing.
So in the break, maybe you can help me out because I need to understand the difference between moderate and excessive alcohol intake. I just want to know where that line is because I may need that.
We'll work on that.
Okay. All right.
And then I was just to add a diet. There's certainly a lot of dietary things, and avoiding a high-fat diet can help with things like colorectal cancer.
Gotcha. So eat healthy, don't smoke, and drink in moderation.
That's it.
That's crazy. It seems like that's how you cut out like 75% of all possible sickness. Yet we all seem to not heed those warnings at various times in our lives. When we come back, Dr. Iyer, I want to talk about the latest advances in radiation oncology because I know there's a lot of kind of cool new tools out there. All of them being used at the J. Phillips Sitta Regional Cancer Center at Community Medical Center.
That sounds great.
All right, Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back with more after this. Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 720. We're back here with Dr. Rajesh Iyer. He is a radiation oncologist at Community Medical Center. We are, of course, talking about oncology, which is that's medical talk for cancer. So talk to me about the latest advances in radiation oncology.
Sure. We have many new exciting ways of giving treatment for patients, many new exciting tools. We actually just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of having a CyberKnife radiosurgery treatment system at Community Medical Center. The CyberKnife is basically a robot which controls a small radiation machine, and this robot is able to give focused high doses of radiation very precisely to tumors. So we're able to treat tumors better than we were before and in fewer treatments, which certainly adds to patient convenience.
That is really cool. So CyberKnife is great. What is okay? I'm not even going to be able to read this right. By the way, let me give everybody a little bit of insight. When I interview doctors, I literally get like a playlist from the hospitals to say, why don't we talk about these things? And so when I sound really dumb reading them, I just want you all to understand why, okay? So what is skin contact brachytherapy?
That's pretty good.
I did all right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So basically we have these tools at the hospital where most patients with skin cancers, they can either have surgery or we have to use the beam radiation, which is Monday through Friday for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks usually. We recently have these new what we call applicators, small little metal discs that we put directly on the skin cancer. We feed a little radioactive seed into the middle of the disc, and it gives focused radiation through the disc directly on top of the tumor. And it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to give the treatment. It's completely painless, but we get this treatment twice a week for 7 times. So within about 3.5 weeks, only 7 visits, the entire cancer is treated.
Wow, that's crazy. That's great. I mean, it's like it is amazing. You know, we still clearly don't have a cure for cancer, quote unquote, but we have certainly ways to improve quality of life and to improve outcomes as we move forward. So we also have improved imaging for planning treatment. So what does that mean? What does that do for you?
So we used various X-ray tests such as CAT scans, MRI scans, PET scans for us to be able to see where various cancers and tumors are. And what we have at the hospital is we have some very advanced software which allows us to bring in these X-ray tests, which patients have done at a variety of places, into our treatment planning programs, actually fuse or merge them very precisely so that we can use all that information to help us give the most accurate treatment for the patients.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about cancer research and access to clinical trials at Community Medical Center.
Sure. So we're very proud of our research program at the J. Phillips Sitta Regional Cancer Center. For a community hospital, I think we have a very active research program. We participate with national groups such as the NRG, which is a national cooperative group that all the major academic centers participate in, and we enroll patients in those trials. We also have individual studies with particular academic centers. For example, We have a cyberknife study with several with the University of Pittsburgh, which is a large cyberknife center in the country, also at Georgetown University Hospital. So we've established both national relationships as well as individual relationships with large academic centers. And this allows patients basically to access studies and new ways of treatment they wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Right. Cool. All right. I've heard a lot about, I guess, medicine and how we have doctors and nurses coming together to kind of talk about individual patients and almost like a board or a panel. So talk to me about tumor boards and what do they do?
So I think tumor boards are a wonderful thing. I think they really allow us to bring together all the different specialties that we've mentioned, along with all the other supportive specialties, nursing, as you mentioned, physical therapy, plastic surgery for reconstruction with breast patients, social workers. And we meet at the hospital where we discuss different patient cases. And this way, everybody gets some input on the case and everybody can lend their expertise. And it's to the benefit of the patients because this way they get a really comprehensive approach to their cancer at our center.
Right. Well, and I'm sure in your particular case, it's probably the most important because there are so many different ways to attack or treat cancer that it's important that, you mentioned the 3 different kind of ways to treat. It's important that kind of you reach a consensus and put together a strategic way to attack, right?
Absolutely. That's so important. And we always think of the patient as a whole patient, and that's why we have things like nutrition, counseling, support services, patient education. We even have a survivorship nurse who after the patient's complete treatment, helps get them back to their life, and so they can live life they want to.
All right, cool. We're talking to Dr. Rajesh Iyer. He is the chair of the Cancer Committee and a board-certified radiation oncologist at Community Medical Center. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the national accreditations that Community Medical Center has received. And I also want to talk about what you kind of see in the future. And then we'll give you your magic wand, and we'll be good to go, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 726. Listen up to the Hometown View and then the news, and then we'll be back with Dr. Iyer after this.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 736, Wednesday, December 14th, 33 degrees, getting up to 43 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pub app at WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined in studio by Dr. Rajesh Iyer, board-certified radiation oncologist and chair of the CMC, Community Medical Center Cancer Committee. So, national accreditation for the care at Community Medical Center. Outstanding Achievement Award from the American College of Surgeons, accreditation by the NAPBC. What does that mean for patients?
Sure. So we're very proud of the accreditation that we achieve with these national organizations. The American College of Surgeons surveys all large cancer centers, and you have to meet a variety of a very extensive criteria to make that accreditation. And if you do a really good job with it, then they honor you with the Outstanding Achievement Award, which is only given to the top few percent of cancer centers in the country. And we were only 2 centers that year in New Jersey that got that achievement.
That's great. That's great. And obviously, you want those so that I think we're always trying to make sure that people understand what a great medical center they have right in their backyards here in Ocean County.
Absolutely. And the reason we get those accreditations is so that we can demonstrate both to the local community and these national organizations about the quality of care we give. It's a very comprehensive program. Each area is really a headliner and does a really wonderful job for these patients. And so it reassures patients that you can get top-notch care very close to home without having to travel.
Very nice. Let's see. We have all kinds of new treatment modalities that we've talked about. What do you kind of think? What do you if you had to look at your crystal ball? So we're going to give you the magic wand later, but first the crystal ball. What do you see? What do you see coming up?
So I see a lot of exciting things in the future. I think medical research is doing a wonderful job, and I'm seeing us really give more targeted treatments for patients. Certainly in the chemotherapies that we have, they're not just general chemotherapies which affect your whole body. They're really designed to target the cancer and only the cancer, so that the side effects can be a lot less and they can work a lot better at killing these cancers.
Right. Cool. So we have a phone call. So who do we have?
Hi, this is Diane calling.
Hey, Diane.
I just want to say it's not too many years ago when people had a cancer diagnosis, they quickly went to New York or Philadelphia, and they don't have to now. It's a wonderful thing. Community is just really making it a very good name for itself, and I think it's great.
Well, thank you very much for the positive feedback. I'm sure Dr. Iyer appreciates it.
Yeah, thank you very much. We really strive to offer that to our patients in our local community, that level of care.
I think you're doing a great job, and the patients are happy, and it's really great to hear it.
Cool.
So thank you.
Thank you. Have a great holiday.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Well, there you go. So that's a relative of yours? Or, I'm just playing. I'm joking. I joke.
Diane
we jest
Iyer.
here. Yeah. Diane Iyer. Cool. So it's that time where we give you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and make an impact on the world. Dr. Rajesh Iyer, board-certified radiation oncologist, chair of the cancer committee at Community Medical Center. What are you doing with that magic wand?
So I think every cancer doctor would pick up that magic wand and ask for a cure for cancer. And I think that's a pretty obvious choice. And that's certainly what I would do if it's a really powerful magic wand. Now, if you give me kind of like the grade B magic wand where it works but not quite that powerful, I think what would be a more reasonable hope is that our treatments can improve to where we can turn cancer into a disease that people can live with. We have good treatments for it. We can treat the disease. Kind of like diabetes. You know, a lot of patients have diabetes, but they can live with it, they can have treatment for it, and they can live their lives the way they want to. And I would love cancer to be one of those conditions.
Well, first of all, let me just make sure I clear this up. This is a grade A, top of the line. You know, just because we're AM radio doesn't mean we don't have the budget for appropriate magic wands, Dr. Iyer. So it's kind of a... You know, I just want you to understand.
Okay, I was just hedging myself.
No, that's good. That's good. But it's good that you did cover. You did cover it both ways. So, for more information about Community Medical Center, call 732-557-8148, or you could visit barnabashealth.org/community, and of course, you should like Community Medical Center on Facebook. On Facebook.com/Community Medical. Dr. Iyer, thank you so much for coming in this morning bright and early and for sharing with us. Sharing is caring. We all know that.
Thank you for having me. Happy holidays and a happy, healthy new year.
Thank you so much. We're Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin after this.